Alright. I tell you what, I take controls here. Just a quick review of the procedures. Alright. I got the flight controls. Just going to do a little climbing, clearing turn. So I'm just going to lift my wing up just a tiny bit here, look to my left. And then I'm going to flip it over now to the practice area frequency is 122.85. And I'll just say, leisure practice area, Skymetrics 227 over or south of Berryville, 3 miles over Route 7. And practicing slow flight, power off stalls, power on stalls. I'm going to do a quick review of the power off stalls, slow flight procedures. So as you know, everything starts with the clearing turn. We go right at 3,500, and now I'm going to clear to my right. Right's clear. And just looking out the window, it's really important that you do the clearing turns first, and then do the maneuvers immediately after the clearing turns, because if you just clear the area and then you wait like 5 minutes, then you're outside of that, those 2 clearing turns that you've already done, right? So, there you go. I was bugged that heading right there for 310, but I've got Winchester right out there. And I'm going to set the power to 1500 RPM. That's a good key power setting for slow flight. It's going in slow flight, and we practice slow flight for the reason that we're practicing landing, because that's what exactly you're doing right over when you're landing. Anything below 110 knots, you can put 10 degrees of flaps. In the white arc, you can put full flaps. And then we're looking for about 50 knots. Once we get to about 50 knots, we're going to set the power to about 1900 RPM to 2000 RPM. I'm holding the altitude right here at 3,500 feet. Okay, now I'm going to bring the power up. There's 2000 RPM there, and we're just going to trim a little bit. The airspeed gets a little fast, you can pitch the nose up just a tiny bit. And that's slow flight right here. I'm holding a little bit of right rudder, not too much, but I'm just keeping enough to keep the airplane center. And I can practice a little bit of turns here. And it's just nice and gentle turns, that's all. And look at that down below. See that Wayside Farms? So you can take your wife there one weekend or so, right? And then clear to the right again, just doing another clearing turn. Going to start another maneuver here shortly. It's going to be the power off stall. And in the power off stall, we're simulating, like we're coming in for approach to landing. So we do that by descending here and just starting to descent at 65 knots, and we pull the power out to idle. There it is in idle. And then we're just going to start our flare like we're simulating, like we're right above the runway, just coming in for landing. And we're just pitching, and we're pitching, and we're pitching, and we're waiting for a little buffet to see how my airplane's nice and coordinated. There it is, coming in for that, and pitch, 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 pitch. That's the buffeting right there. Then I'm going to lower the nose just a little bit, bring the full power all the way up, gently come out of that stall, and then increase that vertical climb. VSI is showing 500 feet. Bringing up the flaps incrementally. Now I'm simulating that we're going around, like we've taken off, we stalled and we're going around because maybe we're coming in, we had almost a hard landing, or we're about to have a hard landing, we had to go around. But then in the go around, we had too high of a pitch up attitude, and we do a power on stall. It's like a departure from a takeoff stall, we get to, you start hearing the stall warning horn at this time. Try to keep the airplane nice and straight and coordinated. And you're just going to wait for the buffet. And then all we do is just relax angle of attack, just reduce the angle of attack by lowering the nose. That's it, a little bit of buffet, and you just lower the nose. There it is, right at the top. And we just get back to flying speed now. 70, 80 knots coming up. Right at almost 3,800 feet. And there it is. I'm just going to bring the power back to cruise. And there, that's the whole sequence. So we're going to practice those again.